As students and teachers start the fall semester at California State University-Fresno, they are facing the hardship of the California budget cuts. Students are forced to pay the recent fee increases. Teachers and faculty are forced to take furlough days. The major issue is that the budget cuts are affecting the lower and middle class students. The stories you are about to hear are documented at CSU Fresno.
Well, I think the entire university community is being affected by the budget cuts, but I think students are hurt the most by the budget cuts here. They're paying 30% more in fees just in this last year, and that's on top of fees that they've seen go up in previous years.
But the university was established to provide a university education for people who've never been to college, whose families, no one in their family has a college degree. Right? And that's certainly true in my case. I'm the first one in my family to get a college degree, and I got both my BA and my MA here at Fresno State. What will happen if this goes on is that these people will be excluded from Fresno State and the CSU system because they won't be able to afford it, and the university won't have the open enrollment that it used to have.
I think all classes of students are being affected to a certain extent because of class offerings and that type of thing. As far as financial aid is concerned and availability of funds to help students out, it's probably more the middle class student in that they may only be eligible for Stafford loans, and there's a limit on how much they can get per year, so there's no increase in those dollars at this point. So I would say they may have more of an impact than some of the others.
They have this definition of what middle class is, but I think that it's being redefined right now. But I mean, my mom and my dad are going on their third mortgage. But I mean, technically if you looked at their income, they'd probably be considered middle class, you know, but they're in a lot of debt and they're not necessarily capable of helping meet their college.
And then with middle class, I mean, those guys don't get any help. Their parents are barely making little, odds and ends, barely make it the middle class. Hell, we're about ready to see no more middle class pretty soon.
Well, I think the middle class is probably going to be hit the hardest because lower class sometimes can get help through financial aid and different things like that. Middle class, they don't get as much help, and so as it increases, they also don't have the extra amount of money to put towards their tuition, so they're just they'll probably be hit probably the hardest. And then upper class, it might not affect as much because they have more money. It's
going to affect mainly the people that have hardly any money, that are surviving off odds and ends with parents that don't have jobs or educations that well. Now, we look at those rich kids, they're going to be fine. Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be driving around their cars and so on and so forth. And while all of us suffer, I mean, the tuition is not good for anybody right now. And if you tell me your parents are rich, fine. Yeah, say that right now. Say that right now. I guarantee in a year or two, you'll be broke as hell and you'll be crying about this shit.
I feel that the class that's going to be affected are the lower class, the farm workers, the children of the farmers that are attending college, and just people that are coming back from not a wealthy family. I see myself as a lower class. My family is all field workers, so we do not make enough money to help support me and go to college.
My parents are middle class they're more of the upper middle class, but with the economics, their problems, they have been having a hard time.
I think it's very clear that the cuts affect particularly working class students who are the majority of the student body here. Students, however, I think have it even worse. They're now paying 30% more, and this semester particularly, they got the bill that says you owe extra money.
Here's my story. Not long ago, I came here from Thailand. I was poor. But then because of education, public education, I became the person that I am today. But then, I went on with my life. I worked, and now I'm back for graduate school, and guess what I found out? They just hiked up the damn price!
The same thing that happens with the government on a larger scale basis. Like she said, everything's being privatized. They want to run it like a business. It's unequal distribution of wealth. Our president of the university doesn't need that suite, that big office up there. They don't need all those benefits. Our football coach makes double the salary of any other coaches in our conference. Does he need to be making that much, or do we need better education? almost all of us here are busting our asses to pay for our education. You guys are not pissed? Yeah!
I've been here for about 6 years now, partly due to the fee increases.
Yes!
I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to start slapping some motherfuckers in the mouth.
With what you said, how the hell are we going to afford tuition when there are not enough jobs?
But again, we're going to demand you that it's clear to us the first thing you can do is to tell the board of directors and tell yourself to lower your salary and to end all the perks right now. And by the way, your lower salary is most people's, dreams. That's what they want to make. Share our pain, Welty.
This tuition increase has been a part of a much sort of longer ongoing situation. Since 2002, I believe, the students have seen their fees increase 182%. So this last increase actually came on top of significant increases over the last several years.
A little bit of history lesson. What's happening today is not simply just happening by bad luck or bad economy. It's part of a larger trend that started about 30 years ago when the Master Plan of Higher Education was attacked. The Master Plan of Higher Education guaranteed access to all qualified California students like yourself and your families. It demanded a quality education, which the budget cuts are hurting right now. The budget cuts are against the Master Plan of Higher Education. This is a deliberate attempt. 30 years ago, did you know 30 years ago there was no tuition? All students at UCs and counties did not pay tuition. Okay? I'll tell you what happened. Ronald Reagan was elected. Ronald Reagan is the one who instituted tuition at the public higher education institutions. Since then, he's reduced state budget to higher education. So this is not just happening today, it's a part of a larger trend that's existed. And these people will not give up until they're done privatizing public education. Do you want that? No! Okay. Now who is this going to affect? People like yourselves. How many people here are first-generation college students?
Access, easy access, affordable access to quality higher education is fading in the state of California. We're really moving away and moving towards the privatization of higher education. Moving back to that model where basically only people who can afford to pay for their education themselves are going to be the ones who have access to it.
A lot of wealthier families and upper middle class families, they have a history and tradition of saving for college and planning for college. So people that are working class and middle class might not get the opportunities that they might have had because the CSU is becoming more and more unaffordable, less affordable with the fee increases that happen every year.